Let's talk about the future of driving. Because what if it's not just about convenience? What if it's actually about life and death? We're going to dive into the massive, high-stakes race to build a truly self-driving car. A battle that is going to completely redefine everything we think we know about driving.
And look, when we talk about stakes, they really don't get any higher than this. Just listen to this incredible story from a Tesla driver in Australia named Andrew. Picture this. You're cruising at over 100 kilometers an hour and suddenly your car gets slammed by what he called a meteor shower. Glass explodes, smoke fills the car, he and his passenger are just completely stunned. But the car, in self-driving mode, it doesn't swerve, it doesn't panic, it just keeps on going, straight and steady. Andrew is convinced it absolutely saved his life. You know, this isn't some sci-fi movie. This is the real-world promise of autonomy, right now.
But here's the thing. Getting to a future where stories like Andrew's are just normal, well, that's proving to be a monumental challenge. Every major car company on the planet is chasing the exact same goal, but the industry is completely split on how to get there. And yeah, you've got specialized players like Waymo doing their thing, but the real battle line in the car industry you and I know, it's being drawn between two totally different philosophies.
So what this does is set the stage for a classic David versus Goliath story. On one side, you've got Tesla, kind of the lone wolf, betting the entire farm on a really radical in-house strategy. And on the other side, you've got this massive coalition of legacy automakers, a literal army, all banding together to try and play catch-up. It's a huge showdown. It's basically Tesla versus the world.
So what's Tesla's secret weapon in this fight? Well, it's really a three-part gamble. First, they are all in on a vision-only system. The idea is simple, right? Humans drive with two eyes, so a car should be able to too. It's a really gutsy choice for sure. Second, they're building one single massive AI brain to make sense of everything. And third, and this might be the most important part, they're using the millions of Teslas already on the road to collect an absolutely mind-boggling amount of real-world driving data.
And to put that data advantage into perspective, just get this. The tech giant NVIDIA recently put out what it called the world's biggest public data set for autonomous vehicles. It had a grand total of 1,700 hours of driving data. Tesla, with its fleet out there on the road, collects that same amount of data roughly every single minute. This is not just a numbers game, you guys. It is a constant, real-time fire hose of information that is feeding and improving their AI, and it's giving them a lead that might actually be impossible to overcome.
Okay, so how is the rest of the industry even supposed to compete with that? Well, they're forming an alliance. Companies like Stellantis, Mercedes, Lucid, they're taking a completely different path. It's more of a pick-and-shovel approach, where they're building their systems on top of a ready-made hardware platform from NVIDIA, which, means they're kind of putting their fate in the hands of another company.
And this is where you see the two philosophies just completely diverge. While Tesla is betting it all on just cameras, the NVIDIA toolkit is, well, it's everything but the kitchen sink. We're talking 14 high-def cameras, 9 radars to see through fog, a LiDAR unit for super precise mapping, 12 ultrasonic sensors, the whole shebang. It's this really powerful modular kit that car companies can pretty much just buy off the shelf to get a huge head start.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a critical piece of the puzzle missing. NVIDIA gives them the hardware, the sensors, the basic software, basically all the plumbing for the house. But each and every automaker, whether it's Mercedes or Lucid or whoever, still has to do the incredibly hard, tedious work of building the actual AI model, the house itself. They have to build their own teams and develop the software that actually sees, thinks, and drives. So, okay, we've got these two clashing strategies. But it is so important to remember that neither of these paths is a walk in the park, not even close. Reaching true, reliable, go-anywhere autonomy is honestly one of the hardest engineering challenges humanity has ever attempted.
And yet, if you listen to some people on Wall Street, you'd think the problem is already solved. It's in the rearview mirror. You have prominent analysts like Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas basically declaring the whole challenge solved. He's comparing it to the invention of the steam engine, a moment that just changes transportation forever.
But is it really solved? I mean, really? Let's take a quick reality check and see where the tech actually is on the road today.
The promise of the technology is for sure really impressive. I mean, you see clips from testers of the latest full self-driving beta, and they share these incredible moments, like a car doing 55 miles per hour, spotting a big piece of roadkill, and just smoothly maneuvering around it. That's a super complex, human-like decision that's made in a split second. It's amazing.
But then, there's the reality. The very same version of FSD has also been recorded making a simple, almost comical mistake, backing into a potted plant while it's trying to park and getting a scratch. It's these tiny, seemingly mundane failures that show you just how much further there is to go.
And that right there brings us to the absolute core of the problem. It's a point Elon Musk himself made. It's easy to get to pretty good self-driving, but insanely hard to get to great. That first 99% of the problem, driving on a clear highway, that's one thing. It's that final 1%, handling all the infinite, unpredictable, weird stuff that happens in the real world. That part is exponentially harder to solve. And that final 1%? That is the giant, staggering gap between what we call Level 4 and Level 5 autonomy. Level 4 is what that NVIDIA alliance is shooting for. It means the car drives itself, sure, but only in limited, pre-approved conditions, like on certain highways in good weather. It's called geofencing. Level 5, though, that is the true holy grail. That's a car that can drive itself anywhere, anytime, under any conditions, from a snowy mountain pass to a chaotic city street with no human babysitting required.
So this distinction, it brings us right to the endgame. Because if solving that final 1% is as hard as it seems, then how does this all play out? Well, there's a fascinating and maybe a little controversial theory about how this whole tech race might finally end.
The theory goes like this. The Alliance, using NVIDIA's toolkit, gets stuck. They achieve a pretty good Level 4 system that works great on highways, but they can't make that final leap to a generalized go-anywhere solution. Meanwhile, Tesla, with its data advantage and AI-first approach, actually makes the breakthrough to true, unsupervised Level 5. And at that point, the rest of the industry faces a brutal choice. Either admit defeat and license the working FSD system from Tesla, or risk becoming the next blockbuster in a world that's moved on to Netflix.
So here's the final question we're left with. Is this going to be a winner-take-all race, where one company's strategy is proven right and the entire industry is forced to fall in line? Or is there room for multiple paths to get to our autonomous future? The answer isn't just going to determine the fate of the auto industry. It's going to shape how we all get around for generations to come.